I'm honestly completely shocked on a couple different things that I just seen. Number one is Tom Lee just came out with an outright crazy call for the month of June. If you don't know who Tom Lee is and what the call is that he made today, I will share that clip with you. It's about 5 minutes long, but it's not just that. Jim Cramer. I'm going to assume you guys know who Jim Cramer is. Well, he's not exactly the biggest fan of Elon or Tesla, and he said that you should buy Tesla stock because the shareholder vote is going to reinstate his package, comp package that is, and Tesla stock is going to go higher on that. Both of those things are just outright kind of shocking. Beyond that, we do have some other news to share with you. Elon kind of breaks down where the AI spending of Tesla is going this year. We do have a new note out from Adam Jonas and Morgan Stanley, and he shows optimism that Tesla can get Elon to that 25% voting power threshold, even if the vote does not go through, coming on June 13th. We also have Ron Barron going on CNBC to discuss Tesla and the comp package and other things tomorrow morning. And there's one thing specifically that I will be watching for that could be very important for Tesla stock investors. Beyond all of that, we do have some huge data coming out tomorrow morning. So do me a quick favor at the end of this video, if you guys learn anything or find perspective out of this video, do hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and turning on that notification bell so you do not miss when a new video comes out and potentially miss information that will help you make money. So this is what Jim Cramer just said about Tesla stock.
I'm going to go back to Tesla here. Maybe get your thoughts on the stock. So we do have this report of Elon potentially.
I'm not a seller of Tesla. I think that he wins the vote and stock goes higher.
Right,
okay, I mean, that's not something you normally get out of Jim Cramer. If anything, he bags on Tesla, but then again, Tesla stock is down about 30% year to date. Some of that is the weaker than expected deliveries, you know, other things that are happening at Tesla. But I think a lot of that 30% decline is the uncertainty being priced into Tesla about whether Elon is going to stay at Tesla or not. Ever since the judge in Delaware shot down Elon's comp package, that has had a very negative impact to Tesla stock. So I got to agree with Jim Cramer there. Whether you like him or hate him, I as well think the vote will go through on June 13th and Tesla will go a lot higher. The options market, if you do not know, is only pricing in an 8% move for Tesla stock coming by June 21st. So that covers the June 13th shareholder vote. And I believe, for better or for worse, Tesla stock's going to move more than 8%. I think you could see a 10% up or down move even on June 13th or June 14th itself. Now, Adam Jonas came out with a new note today that says basically either way, Elon's probably not leaving Tesla, just to kind of summarize. But Adam Jonas said this: without Elon Musk achieving a 25% voting stake in the company, we believe Tesla shareholders should be prepared for Tesla to significantly slow down / curtail its direct investment in sensitive / advanced AI efforts. While investor opinions around the June 13th shareholder vote are in flux, we believe there may be any number of potential paths for Elon Musk to achieve a 25% voting stake in Tesla over time, even without the inclusion of the 2018 compensation package. So basically saying either way, the board's gonna get Tesla to 25% voting power. Now, this will also be important coming tomorrow. Ron Barron will be on CNBC at 7:30 in the morning. He's expected to talk about Tesla, Elon, and the upcoming Tesla shareholder vote, and obviously more. Now, Ron Barron famously said back in, I believe it was March, it's been many months now, that, quote, just wait and see what happens when Tesla releases the $25,000 vehicle. Ron Barron went on to say in that interview on CNBC that he expects that will come in the next 12 months. People were not expecting that at the time. What happened a couple of months later, the Tesla team said, yeah, we're going to have the next gen vehicle coming out here in the next 6 to 8 months. Basically by the end of 2025. They're speeding up those next gen models. So I think the markets do pay attention to what Ron Barron says. Ron Barron has already had some huge gains on his Tesla position, and he is a longtime investor in Tesla stock. So, you know, I don't like to speculate too much because none of this is definitive, but when you're someone like a Ron Barron, you typically have more information than we do, and that's why the markets, you know, tend to care a little bit more based on what Ron Barron says. Now, the one thing I'm specifically waiting to hear about tomorrow morning and hoping we hear about is whether or not Ron Barron thinks Elon would leave Tesla. If Ron Barron says, even if the vote doesn't go through, Elon's not going to leave, I think that would alleviate a lot of investors' concerns. And again, just to be fully transparent with you, I do have options trades currently on Tesla stock because I believe Tesla is going to move more than what the markets are pricing in. So I do have an upward bias here, and I may be missing something, especially on the downside. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I am not an incompetent person. I understand if Elon's vote does not go through and he does not get his comp package reinstated, Tesla stock could fall anywhere from 10 to 50%, right? I said 10 to 30%, but it could theoretically fall more than that, right? I'm not delusional in that sense. I do think the odds of a pass on his compensation package are higher. But I will sit here and acknowledge to you guys, whether you like it or hate it, there is a chance, even though I think it's a smaller chance, maybe a 20%, 30% chance, that Tesla stock could fall a lot as well. So you've seen a lot of big money that even today continued to buy those deep in the money puts to hedge out their Tesla positions. That continues to put a constant supply of selling pressure on the stock, because when they go out and they buy those deep in the money puts, market makers have to go out and short a lot of stock to hedge against that trade, right? To delta hedge against that trade. Well, if you get the vote going through and Tesla stock goes higher, you're going to have millions and millions of shares that instantaneously need to be bought by the market makers. And that can help give Tesla a huge day or couple of days following June 13th, in my personal opinion. But if you guys want to hedge your Tesla position, maybe some different ideas that you can employ, I'm heavily invested in Tesla. I'm personally not going to hedge, but I don't think it's a bad idea at all, given what the markets are pricing in, and I think you're going to get a larger move, for better or for worse, after June 13th. And the options are relatively inexpensive to hedge, let's say to go out to June 21st, like these other big money investors are doing. I do plan on making a video exactly how, to hedge, or some ways you can hedge over this weekend. So if that's something you guys are interested in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so you do not miss that video. Nonetheless, let's now play this clip from Tom Lee and his wild, I mean outright wild call for June.
Our next guest says that June is going to, well, I'm going to introduce you, and then I'm going to let him tell you, because we're not going to bury the lead on this. Let's get to Tom Lee, Fund Strat. He's pretty amazing, guy that we try to visit with as much as we can. He's on kind of a roll. He is managing partner and head of research at FundStrat Global Advisors, also a CNBC contributor. And once again, you're doing exactly what I tell you not to do, Tom, and that is giving a price target and a time frame. Never do both. Never do one or the other, but you're doing it again. So 5,500 on the S&P by the end of June. It's hard not to talk about that immediately. Based on, Tom, lower inflation.
That's right. I think there's a fundamental case, Joe, which is inflation is coming in softer than expected. And I think the job market is it's cooling, but not weakening dramatically. And I think that's a good situation for equities. And I think that the sell-off in April actually hasn't really been fully recovered. And that's why we expected a rebound in May, but I think that carries over into June. And there's still $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines, and margin debt's still way below where it was in October 2021. So we know investors really aren't that long yet. So I think that comes together this month. with a pretty surprisingly robust move higher.
It is a little bit longer than that crazy call you made. It was based on a week, Tom. I remember, and it worked out for you. You were right. So now at least you're doing it in terms of a month. In the past, when you have made these calls, it's been about inflation, hasn't it? And that's where it is again. What are you seeing in terms of components that make you confident that those were outliers that we saw a couple months ago, where it looked like it was inflation was coming back?
Yeah, the April inflation data, both CPI and PCE, kind of revealed that the two things that the Fed's been waiting to cool are starting to cool. One is shelter inflation. You know, it's decelerating, even though it's still higher than the Fed would like. And then I think there's some evidence that auto insurance, which has been, rising over 22%, is beginning to sort of normalize. And I think sometime before the second half, auto insurance is no longer going to be contributing to inflation. So that's the dynamic we think that's at play in this upcoming May CPI report. That comes out May 12th.
The other lead I didn't want to bury, and this is another crazy call, Tom. 150,000 on Bitcoin by the end of the year. It's already June.
Yes. We're still constructive on Bitcoin. There's the tailwinds that are associated with the halving that just took place. We also know because of the Bitcoin ETF, and there have been tremendous inflows, but institutional sort of adoption and infrastructure being built around Bitcoin is only beginning. And that makes, crypto, especially Bitcoin, a bona fide asset class. And I think that sort of widening ownership is going to be propelling Bitcoin to 150,000. And again, maybe surprising or not surprising, Bitcoin still follows math. More than 87% of the move in Bitcoin still follows just the number of wallets and the activity per wallet, and both are moving higher.
Tom, I would think that a lot of your calls are based on the Fed cutting too. Bitcoin's not going to 150 if the Fed doesn't cut. So you must think that the Fed is going to be able to cut. Is that because of inflation? Is it because the economy slows? Fundamentally, what do you think has to happen for all these bullish things in both stocks and crypto to happen with the Fed?
I think it is important for the Fed to not have hikes on the table. So I think that's the most important for investors, is the Fed is no longer in a rate hiking cycle. But if the Fed makes even just one cut this year, I think it's really supportive of equities, because it really shows the Fed is trying to sort of nurture the business cycle, and it's a good environment for stocks. I don't think one cut or three cuts makes that much difference for stocks, but again, you're exactly right. It all depends on inflation, really the edge coming off enough for the Fed to say we're comfortable cutting this year.
But not necessarily. We could have Goldilocks. We could have inflation come down and the economy continue to do okay.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think the company's earnings have actually really spoken to how in a 5% pretty restrictive rate environment, earnings have been really robust. I know consumers, there are some trouble signs out there, but consumer leverage is still quite low. And of course, if the Fed does begin to cut, there's a lot of levers that will boost both consumer wealth and company demand. So I think there's still positive catalysts that are associated with a Fed cut eventually. All
right, Tom Lee, not much more that needs to be said. We'll be able to, that's just way too specific, but we'll have you on and we'll check July. Maybe we'll have you on July 1st, see what's going on. We won't be mad if you're not exactly right, because you're willing to go out on a limb all the time with us, so we appreciate it.
When I first heard this clip from Tom Lee, I wish I had the camera on and recording at that time, because I think my jaw was dropped. I mean, that is expecting a certain specific line of events to happen in June. Okay, now what does that mean? Well, that's expecting that the economy is going to do okay. The data is not going to show the economy is, going down the toilets, and inflationary pressures are going to fall. Well, coming tomorrow, you're going to have a big catalyst that has huge implications for inflation and the economy. So Tom Lee's call is directly going to be tested coming tomorrow. And in fact, it has been tested over the past couple of trading days. You can see small caps have done exceptionally bad for the last couple of weeks. But what has happened? You've gotten slightly weaker economic activity, even today with the JOLTS job openings coming in 300,000 jobs lower than expected. Usually that would have been a positive thing for small caps. It hasn't been. Investors have been going out and buying the bonds. Thus, bond yields, like your 10-year treasury, has went from 4.6% to 4.3%, a 30 basis point drop in the last 4 or 5 trading days, and that has not been positive for small caps. What does that mean? It actually means investors are starting to get fearful about a potential recession, the R word. Now, that means throughout the month of June, if that's the way that markets are now operating, that bad news is bad news, you need to see okay or good news for the economy and the labor market and progress on bringing inflation down. That's going to be tough to follow through on from the market's perspective. It's not impossible, but it's going to be kind of hard to get that Goldilocks kind of environment. But if Tom Lee is correct and the S&P rallies 4% in June, let's say Tesla's shareholder vote goes through and Elon's comp package gets reinstated. At the same time, you're going through a broad market rally, and you could be in for, the mid 200s, maybe by the end of June. I think it could be quite aggressive to the upside in Tesla stock. Now, again, like I said, Tom Lee's projection for the S&P having a 4% rally in June is going to be tested quite a bit by the data coming out tomorrow. Now, the data coming out tomorrow will be ISM Services PMI. The headline number is obviously important, but there's one specific component of the services PMIs that the markets care a lot about. And we'll talk about that in just 1 second. ISM Services PMIs are expected to come in around 51, so that would actually be an improvement from last month's 49.4. In this market environment, the markets might actually like that. ISM Services business activity is expected to increase from 50.9 to 52.3. ISM Services employment is expected to rise from 45.9 to 48. ISM Services new orders are expected to rise as well from 52.2 to 53. And ISM Services prices, this is the important part with a direct, tell-all of service inflation. This is by far what the markets pay attention to. So last month you came in at 59.2. The estimate is 60. Preferably, you want to see this services prices paid number come in maybe at 55. Let's call it that. But all of your other data come in good. So services data come in good. Maybe business activity come in good. Employment come in okay. New orders come in okay. But prices paid fall. That will give the markets the best reaction coming tomorrow. But if prices paid come in, higher than expected, tomorrow's probably going to be another rough day for the markets, and especially your small caps. They have been taking it on the chin the last couple of days. That is going to be your big data coming tomorrow, and that is what is going to move our markets. And that's pretty much all we have for tomorrow. You do have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision that comes out at 9:45 in the morning, so 15 minutes after the markets open. You are expecting the Bank of Canada is going to cut rates from 5% down to 4.75%. That could give the markets a little bit of a boost for US stocks, but we'll have to see, and that's really undecided. Your ISM Services PMI will come out at 10 o'clock in the morning, so you will be able to trade this news when it does come out. And if you want to get these numbers as soon as they are put out, this is not a paid promotion. This is just what I use, tradingeconomics.com/calendar. And yet again today, you continued to see in the options market those very large, deep in the money put orders. You have here a June 21st 250 put worth 10 million, a June 21st 276 put worth 14 million, a June 21st 275 put worth 4.55 million, and there's many others. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what we see here for June 21st and take a look at the bubble chart. And I have a feeling, oh my gosh, 1,000. Yeah, holy crap. Look at these. $1,400 puts. There's 35,000 of these. 1,550 puts. There's 48,000 of these held in brokerage accounts. These numbers are insane. Okay, now there's quite a bit of speculation down here towards the $200 level and in the 300s, but geesh, you're seeing these go out to the 2,200 puts. That's just incredible. Overall, I'm not expecting much again for Tesla stock heading into June 13th. I think the move will come after June 13th, but anywhere from 172 to 182 on the higher side, that's the range that I'm currently expecting here until June 13th. Unless we get big news or new information, that is. So let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. What is your expectation for the next couple of weeks? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.